What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Dolphins Daily, your daily dose of Dolphins content with your boy Chris Kane. We are doing more of our travel shows. Again, I'm not on location, so giving you guys some content in the meantime. Let's start. We're going to talk about the 1983 season, which, as you know, is the beginning of the Marino era. Going into that draft, obviously John Elway was like the cream of all the crops. Everybody knows what John Elway was in that draft. Jim Kelly was in that draft as well. Ty Blackledge, a few other people. But the problem for Dan Marino was that he was one of the first players to have like character concerns going into the draft. And they were like, he was drinking a little bit, he was partying a little bit, he was having a lot of fun up in Pittsburgh, all right? And people really were like, we don't know if this guy's cut out for the league. We don't know if he's disciplined enough. We don't know if he's going to take the game seriously enough. And so he actually started to fall, not because he wasn't good, but because we didn't know if we could trust him. There were some questions about his arm strength, but they were, I think, comparing him directly to John Elway, which, I mean, what kind of comparison is that? John Elway has one of the strongest arms of all time. So it's not really a fair comparison, but it was made. But because people didn't know about his character and he had, other concerns off the field, he ended up falling to the Dolphins at 27 and instantly changed the franchise going forward. Miami up to that point had been mostly a running-based team, kind of, tough nose, ground and pound. Marino came in and immediately we're throwing the ball. We had the Marks brothers out here, Mark Super Duper, and of course Mark Clayton, and they immediately started moving the ball around. I noticed the stats don't look crazy now. He threw for a little bit over 2,000 yards, 20 touchdowns. So now you're like, dude, that's like half a season for a quarterback. But that had eclipsed the rookie record up to that point. So even though nowadays that feels like nothing, back then people were like, yo, who is this kid? He ended up making the Pro Bowl his rookie year and, of course, being rookie of the year. So took the world by storm. He had a couple like really highlight moments with the division on the line. We had to play Buffalo, of course, and he led 3 touchdown drives in the last 5 minutes of the game to get the dub. Fantastic there. And then we get into the actual playoff run. Now, again, the Dolphins weren't supposed to be the favorites. The Jets were a good team that year. Seattle, of course, Pittsburgh. And the Dolphins made their way through all 3 of those teams. The Jets game was like a real upset. The Seattle game was domination. But the Pittsburgh game is really where I can't say the legend of Marino started because I guess he would have already been a legend at this point. He's a rookie in the AFC Championship game. But the fact that he got to play the Steelers, like his hometown team, he went to Pitt. It's like the moment is the moment. He threw for 421 yards in that game, including what was eventually the go-ahead touchdown to win it. But I can't imagine what that's like because all you wanted to do was play for Pittsburgh. Like everyone knew going out of the draft, you want to play for Pittsburgh. You want to stay home. And so now I get to play you for a chance to go to the Super Bowl. And that's like, here's the moment. He destroyed the Triple B's defense. Now, let's be fair, those guys weren't fully mature yet. They got mature quickly. I mean, they won a few more Super Bowls in the 80s. But at the time, they weren't who they were supposed to be yet. So we totally get that. But to go to your hometown against the team that you most likely wanted to play for, a team that was favored to win, and you go in there and get the dub, that's like that alone would be. I mean, they literally made a 30 for 30 mostly by the 1983 draft. They could have just done one on the Dolphins season. They haven't done one yet. Maybe when I get enough money, we can do that kind of thing. But to do that and make it to the Super Bowl, that's like the biggest thing in the world. In the Super Bowl, things got a little dicey. It just so happens that the Dolphins defense that year was not particularly good against the run, and Marcus Allen is very good at running the ball. I'm sorry, he was really good at USC. Apparently really good at Oakland too. And he ran wild against Miami. And there was really nothing we could do about it. There was no, coaching adjustments. There was nothing. We didn't have an answer for him. I'm sure you've seen, if you didn't see the game when it happened, obviously, a lot of us aren't old enough. You've seen highlights of him just running through and carving the defense. And there was nothing we could do about it. Our run defense wasn't good. Oakland knew that, and they had a great running back. They pounded the ball, super successful. Obviously, they just completely controlled the game and dominated. They won the game by almost 30 points. I mean, it wasn't particularly close. I don't know how else to tell you. It wasn't like if we had just put another guy in a box or made one little adjustment. It just wasn't good. It was a washout. And honestly, Marino he looked like a rookie, which you expect. I mean, Jaden Daniels kind of had some of that last year. I thought he actually played surprisingly well against Philadelphia. But, at some point when you're a rookie, you expect to hit that wall. You expect the moment to get too big. The Super Bowl looked like it got too big for him. It also doesn't help when you're getting bludgeoned in the running game and you come on the field and you're like, I got to like overproduce to make up for my running game not doing this job. Instead of now you're pressing a little bit, and then they're having these just these long drives, pushing your team around. Team morale is going down. It just wasn't. I mean, we've seen this before. It wasn't the best moment in the world. It was physical outmatching. There's just no other way to say it. And Marino did not play the best Super Bowl in the world. And the really unfortunate thing is, we expected after this year that this was going to be that's what we are now. We're just going to be Marino's team, slinging the ball around, Super Bowl bound every year, kind of what the Patriots were, where every year with Tom Brady, you just thought they should kind of be the favorites for the Super Bowl every year. And then they would lose to various teams, but they always were like the betting favorite. Like for years, people thought, well, Marino will get back. Of course, he's going to be great. They have receivers, or they'll get more receivers, they'll get more running game. They never got Marino the defense that he really, really needed post that to like get to where he needed to get to. No one disputes Marino's ability. But what happened in this game is one of those situations where you don't realize how short a window is of winning until the window is already passed. We all assume that, like when the Seattle Seahawks, right, when they had the Legion of Boom and a young Russell Wilson, made it to a Super Bowl and won it, made it to a second one, lost by a yard because they decided to be heroes. And you thought, oh, they'll get it back, they'll get back, and then that team has not been good since. I think they made maybe one or two playoffs, but they weren't never. We're about to win a Super Bowl again. It just, I don't know. It goes away. The Patriots are the anomaly because Brady and Belichick just had such a good institutional system that they could bring in parts and kind of replace old people, and they kind of kept winning. But you never know. And if we had told Dolphin fans in 1983, hey, don't worry, we'll get them next time, then you would have been like, oh yeah, sure. I mean, you've got a 10, 12-year Super Bowl winning window, and it just never happened. And I think it's one of the bigger tragedies in football that someone as amazing as Marino was, someone who was good as early as he was, someone who immediately stepped in, took the world by storm, put his hat in the ring as one of the best quarterbacks around, and just never got back. Conversely, John Elway went to 5 Super Bowls. Now, he got destroyed in his first 3. Destroyed. The San Francisco one, 55-10, 42-10 against Washington. I think the Washington one was 36-20, but that's off top of the head. That may not be right for the third one. The first 2 I know are right. And so people thought, is John Elway ever going to win? But then he got Terrell Davis and a really good defense, and he won 2. But the fact that he had gone to 5 Super Bowls is the fate that we all thought Marino would have. He will certainly get to a handful of Super Bowls in his time. He's young. His arm is elusive. I mean, not elusive. His arm is explosive in terms of like release and accuracy. And of course it's going to work out, and it just never did. And I think we as a team have been chasing a Marino since Marino, obviously, but a team that could get there and really have a chance to win. I mean, a lot of people thought Miami was going to win that year. And since then, I mean, 84, we may do a breakdown of the 84 season at some point, but it's actually really a tragedy that Dan Marino's career is seen in a different tier because he didn't win that game. If Dan Marino wins just that one game, and the rest of his career goes exactly the way it goes, no more Super Bowls, just normal, he's seen almost undoubtedly as a top 5 quarterback. Undoubtedly. There are people who have him in the top 5 now with no Super Bowl. So imagine if a rookie shows up on the scene, Pro Bowl, wins the Super Bowl. Dude, who else is topping that? I know Big Ben got to the AFC Championship, I believe. And when Tom Brady won it, he was actually in his second year. I know people are like, what about Brady's? He was in his second year. But for you to be a a rookie, step on the field, go out there and get glory, and to do it on your arm. Not like when Ben went 15-1 with Pittsburgh, I believe, and lost in the AFC Championship game, that defensive running game was dragging him to that point. He wasn't the engine. Like, he would make a throw here and there. He would avoid a sack here and there. But those boys were absolutely loaded on that team. And he was very much a passenger. He wasn't a driver. Marino was a driver. And if he had just completed that one game, it puts him in rarefied air. No one else has done that since him. And it didn't work out. And as a result, he's still the best player in our history. This is still one of the best Dolphins seasons, even though we didn't win it. But it is a season of very much what if. What if we had closed this one game out? What if? The third Super Bowl in the last 10 years, 10, 11 years. Like, is that a different dynasty talk? Is that, are you in the same category now as the Pittsburghs of the world and San Fran? Like, it changes everything about how we talk about the team. It just didn't quite work out. And unfortunately, you don't know you're in a moment until the moment is over. And I'm sure people who were alive during that time, who were lifelong Dolphin fans, are like, oh, we about to get another run. And it just didn't quite work out. But still a great year. Shout out to Dan Marino. We don't talk a lot about Marino on the show because I feel like that's the low hanging fruit. It would be like you were talking about top rappers. You're like, let me do another Jay Z topic. It's like, why are we doing that? But for the Dolphins, this is like the beginning of the legend of Marino, and in some respects, unfortunately, this might be the apex. The '84 season, he was objectively a better player. The team wasn't as good, but I don't know. It's a situation of very much what if. But shout out to Dan Marino and the '83 Dolphins for going as far as you did. It just wasn't meant to be. But as always, guys, thank you for tuning in to Dolphins Daily. We appreciate the love and support. Thank y'all for supporting me while I'm on the road. I'm trying to give y'all some content. I hope you enjoy it. We'll see you next time on Dolphins Daily. Peace.